still need to do a great deal of, because we need to investigate a whole lot of materials and methods, because their teachers, kids are all different. But what I think, you don't see that here. You see a lot of things about data, technology, Common Core, all of those things. Now, we've done them for several years now. Are we going to stop doing them soon?
Well, obviously, I think the big push this year, with the state, and we've discussed it, the fact that the plates that over the last 14 to 16 months, new evaluation system, new standards, and a new test, all within 14 to 16 months for
I
our
saw that
professionals
about
in
the
the classrooms.
evaluation system as well. But they've already had training in that evaluation system. So at this point in time, I think that we should be using some of our own personnel, because if they got all the training, they should have gotten it too. And we should be using them to do it, because there's a real need in the district to save money so that we can spend it on things for the kids.
We're at the point
I'm
where-
not saying that we should not have anybody from outside the district. I just think that we should start to look at it very seriously and determine where we can cut it down. The other thing was with the extended day. I like some of the things that they were doing, because they were doing things that were fun to the kids. But it said that 45% of this was Title I money, for the most part, and 45% of the kids who are in the program are kids who passed both tests, math and reading. So they were not the kids who were most in need, and who should have been part of this program. So we need to be able to look at a way for us to be able to do that, to get more kids involved.
I think that you noted, one of the teachers made a really relevant comment. The late start really affected getting the certain kids that they wanted to hit.
Well, tonight I went
really impacted that.
I went to the budget meeting tonight, and I spoke with Mr. Campagna about that, and the fact that the Title I money came in late, although we know how much we're getting in May or June, so, and then we didn't get it to them for a very long time. So I think maybe we should be looking at how to get it to them sooner, so that the programs can start sooner.
Yeah, it was a consensus among teachers, administrators, these programs, the extended day as well as the PD has to start earlier.
And the other thing that I saw in here, which is probably my last comment, was that at the end of all of this, when they looked at, there was a problem with the fourth grade. The fourth grade testing, even though kids were in this program, they didn't test, they didn't do well.
Right.
So we have to look at that and find out why.
4 and 6.
Right,
especially
well,
now.
4 is a grade I taught for a long time, and I know that you've taught a whole body of knowledge up to 3rd grade, and now you're going into using it in 4th grade, and that's where a lot of the problems come in.
Yeah, it's a big
But
change.
the other piece of that was that when they looked at the testing of participants and non-participants, there was very, very little difference in the numbers for the people who participated in the extended day and the kids who didn't participate.
Yeah, you were looking at a 2% versus, I believe, 6% for the participants. So in my opinion, I think everybody's here, we have to work on increasing that number
You
significantly.
have to, yes.
But I think it's going to go back to making sure we're starting these programs in a timely manner, because that, like I said, that extra 2 to 3 months makes a huge difference, especially when the teacher then has to just jump in January and start something when they haven't had time to prep. It makes a huge difference. So I think our efforts really have to be in getting these programs started soon, making sure all of our teachers doing them are comfortable doing the program.
Recruiting the right kids,
Correct.
kids who need it the most.
And our big issue is also having them stay, the transportation. We have to think of creative ways to really make sure we're engaging and hooking these children so they stay. And also hooking mom and dad or mom, just hooking them, making sure, listen, this is going to benefit your child in the long run. So from a PR standpoint, I think we got to do a better job.
Well, some of the fun activities the kids will like, but I'm wondering if they're being hooked up to skills.
Well, I just want to say there are a couple of things that we just, so in most cases, they are being aligned with skills, but not in all. And some of it is just, it has been just engaging them. That's true.
Well,
and,
that's okay too.
yeah, and so, right, but in most cases, they are aligned. But there are a couple of challenges that we have that I just want to add, that we had, I should say. And for the 2013-14 school year, we did, indeed, because the Title I money wasn't released, we did have a late start. This year, this past year, 14-15, the district released the money and they're receiving it because we know that we're going to receive it. So that was part of what we wanted to do to get it in their hands. But part of the challenge that we had around the timeliness was that when the board approved those contracts in August, then the timeline around, approved the resolutions, the timeline around actually having the contracts finalized, that also delayed this year, although we were earlier this year than last year. And so that's part of why we want to start that process now so that we can have those conversations. But one of the challenges that we found in the extended day, in some of the schools, again, not all of the schools, was finding teachers who were able to stay for the extended day program. In some of our schools, we have some very young teachers who are either they have families, child care issues, or they're going to school. And so they really weren't, they had a higher, we found that there were schools that had a higher concentration where it was more difficult to find childcare. And so that's part of the reason why with the enrichment fairs and other activities, we've also looked to support the enrichment or after-school programs with outside providers who also do that kind of work that will engage students.